All right, guys. So welcome to the live trading session organized by TenTrade. TenTrade is a multi-asset broker with fantastic services in the foreign exchange market. Allows you to trade CFDs on Forex, stock, and crypto. All right. So what I want to do tonight is very, very simple. Okay. And what I want to do is to analyze the market as a community. Now, the only reason why we do this is so that you as the client of TenTrade or a potential client knows exactly the pairs that you should trade in a particular week, right? So we do this every Monday and every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Nigerian time. It's also an avenue for you to ask questions, right? Because in the foreign exchange market, the major reason why people lose money or blow account is because they are trying to trade in isolation. So if you are able to trade with a group of people, trade with a community, you stand a better chance to actually make money consistently because you won't be making decisions based off of your own perspective, right? So it makes sense to get other perspective, to get a second eye regarding your analysis, right? So Mr. Denny is saying, I can't see your screen. Give me some feedback, guys. If you can see my screen, please type in yes in the chat box. My screen should be showing. Let me know if you can see my screen, guys. Mr. Solomon, can you see my screen? You can see it now. All right, good. So let's go straight into analysis, guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to type your questions in the chat box, or if you like me to unmute you so you can ask your question, and then please type in the currency pairs that you like us to check out, okay? Or currency pairs that you are looking to trade this week, and you like a second analysis on that currency pair, all right? So again, the only essence is to spot zones where you should ideally be trading from. So I'll just wait a couple of seconds before I randomly choose a pair. All right, so Mr. Adeni said we check out GBP NZD, all right? So let us start from there. So while we're analyzing GBP NZD, feel free to type in the pair that I want us to check out real quick. GBP NZD. All right, so GBP NZD is the pounds and the New Zealand dollar. So as always, the first thing that we want to do is to check out what is going on the higher time frame, like the weekly or the monthly. All right, as always, that is what you want to, that's where you want to start from, checking out what price is doing on a higher time frame. So this is the weekly chart on GBP NZD. Looks like market is ranging like so. Let's see what's going on the high time frame, like monthly. All right. So overall, on the monthly chart, price is in a downtrend overall. Let's go to daily. What do we have on daily here? All right. So we've seen a bit of shift here. So let us work with this structure here on daily, like so. Okay, so price is doing something like this. Before we go further, let me confirm something on the weekly chart. Right. Let me see if we can get a defined structure on weekly. Okay, so nothing spectacular on weekly. Okay, so let's go to daily. So we have this particular structure on daily, and then this is what price is doing currently. Okay. All right, so price is on a downtrend on daily, and what are we saying? We've seen price, we've seen a break of structure like so. And then currently, what do we have going on? We currently have price retracing into this block of supply here, okay? So price is currently reacting at a supply level, right? So, and at a supply level, what you want to do is to look for opportunity to sell, right? So if daily is saying that we should sell, so that's a higher time frame giving us a story there. So if daily is saying that we should sell, that means we want to go to a lower time frame and then look for opportunity to do what daily says that we should do, right? So let's go to 4-hour time frame and see if we have a setup to sell. All right. As always, if you have been following these sessions every week, you would cherish the when I teach about market structure. Like I always tell you, your strategy aside, whenever you're trying to analyze the market, before trying to see how your system works, the first thing you want to figure out is the market structure. Now, what market structure will help you determine is the direction of the market. All right, because your strategy can align at any point in time. But if your system does not align with the direction of the market, that is when you start losing a lot of trades, right? So you want to be on the side of the market every single time. So now I said that to explain this contour. So we know that price is over here. This is the supply zone on daily. And in a supply zone, we should expect to sell, right? So if you are selling, we want to go to a lower time frame and also look for an opportunity to sell, right? So this is a 4-hour time frame, which is a lower time frame. If we are going to sell on a lower time frame, then we need market structure to shift to bearish, or it is safer to wait for market structure to shift to bearish. Right now, what we have on 4-hour charts, if we do this, if you can mark this out, this is something you're gonna see like so, okay? So on 4 hours, ideally, price is still very much in an uptrend on H4, right? So it wouldn't make sense to look for sales on H4 right now because the structure of the market on 4 hours is still with the bulls, right? So let's go to lower time frame like 30 minutes and see a possibility of selling here. Good. So on 30 minutes in this zone, what do we have? So we've already seen the sell move take place. It already started actually. So we've missed this move because if you look at the structure like so, price is coming up like so, right? Eventually, we can see the shift take place here. All right, so this was the break of the zone. There is a bit of retracement here to form the lower low. All right, so when that lower low formed, you now want to wait for price to retrace into a supply. So this is a block of supply. All of this zone is a range of supply here. And then as you can see, it is inside this zone that we are supposed to sell ideally, right? And the price actually has taken off. So is it Mr. Denny? I think we are late when it comes to entry on this trade. We are about how many hours late now? Maybe about 3 hours late, but not to worry. There are still other setups that will form. So right now, this is what price is doing. Price is currently reacting to supply. So we have another break of structure here. So let's mark that up here. So this is the break that's currently happening. So when we say the break proper of this zone, let me delete this. So price is currently creating a lower low. So what you want to wait for right now is for price to retrace into this supply zone, like so. So what you want to do, very simple, wait for price to retrace into the zone before you look for opportunity to sell. Now, why are we selling and why are we not buying? We are selling because we are selling on a lower time frame because we already understand the market structure on the higher time frame. So every activity that we are going to be doing on lower time frame has to favor market structure on higher time frame, because higher time frame is an authority time frame, right? So, and market structure on higher time frame is greater than market structure on lower time frame. So that's why we are doing all of that. So what we can wait for right now is for price to retrace into this block. So this is a 30-minute entry right here. So if you have, the time, if you don't have time, what you can do is just set a pending order right here, okay? And then you want to put your stop loss above the zone. All right, or what you can do is when price gets into the zone, you want to go to a lower time frame, like the 5 minutes, like the 1 hour, and look for a very, very sharp entry. Okay, so that's what I would do on GBP USD if I'm to trade GBP USD. I hope that makes sense to you, Mr. Denny Aria. Okay, so assuming we started this session early enough, we could have taken entry at this zone here. So we missed that very good spot. So the second zone where you can take entry is at this retracement. So you have to wait patiently for this retracement to happen. So what you can do is just simply set your alerts. If you have TradingView, what you can do is to come here and then set your alerts so that once price gets into this zone, you'll be notified on via your email, on the app, and then on the TradingView web as well. Okay. All right, good. So Rosalind said we should check out major pairs, EU, GU. So let's check out Euro USD. Euro USD. So as always, we want to go to a higher time frame. So this is a weekly time frame, like so. And then we've been checking out Euro USD for a while now. And so let's do this. So price has been in a downtrend, like so. Okay. And then what is happening right now is that price is currently retracing here. So price is breaking structure, is breaking this lower high, is breaking this lower high, okay, and grabbing liquidity along the way. Ultimately, price is reacting to this supply here, this supply zone. All right. So Euro USD on the weekly time frame is still very much bearish on the weekly time frame. All right. It's still very much bearish on the weekly time frame. So if you know that Euro USD is bearish, what one will start doing is to look for an opportunity to sell, a sell opportunity based on market structure on a lower time frame. And then we've seen that multiple times in this block of supply. Let me make this bigger. In this supply block here, multiple times we've seen liquidity being grabbed. We saw liquidity grab. Let me delete this. You can see price grab liquidity here, like so. Okay, and then price also grab this liquidity. Okay, pardon my straight line, right? So, and usually when you see liquidity grabs like so, it's an indication of, a reversal that might happen. And then also, if you check out the market structure here, what we have seen so far is this is an impulsive move. It's an impulsive move, right, that is taking out a trend line liquidity here. Okay, so, and then price is also aligning at this supply zone. And what is the work of supply? Okay, that means we have active sellers in that zone. So the future of Euro USD in the next few weeks is we should anticipate a serious drop to this extreme. Okay, this is what I see happening in the next couple of weeks. So possibly in the next few 2 to 3, 4, 5 months, right, we should see a huge drop on Euro USD, which is what that means is that the dollar will gain strength eventually. Now, let me just digress and take you to the dollar index, and then let us just confirm something real quick. If you go to the dollar index, US dollar index, what are we going to see? We are going to see a similar structure. All right, so right here. Now, for those that don't know what DXY is a US dollar index is an indices. So the index to measure the strength or weakness of the US dollar. Most major pairs have an index. Okay, so ideally, this is a structure of price is in an uptrend on the weekly charts, like so. Now we have this demand zone, right, that's been taken out. And then ultimately, this is a block of demand as well, right here. All right, so ultimately, this demand failed. And then price is currently in a demand level on the weekly. All right, so until possibly, price breaks this zone here, that's when we can possibly give up our sell buyers, our strength buyers for the dollar. But right now, the dollar is on a weekly demand. And that means dollar is at a zone where a lot of people are interested to buy right now. So that means a lot of people are buying dollar. So this level is a psychological level where the buyers are active. And then what can we also see in this demand zone? We can also see activity of liquidation here. You can see this liquidity being grabbed, like so. You can see this liquidity here being taken out. All right, so we are anticipating the strength of the dollar, and then that will reflect on every currency pair that the dollar is in. All right, so let's go back to the Euro USD. So if we are anticipating the strength of the dollar, right, that means the dollar should also drop according to market structure. Now, because this analysis is on the weekly time frame, weekly, most times it takes time for the moves to happen. So we don't know exactly when that move will start, but it is very, very near, right? The bear market for dollar, okay, that's a quote currency, is very, very near. Okay, so if we know that we have to sell, we're looking for sells on Euro USD. So we want to go to a lower time frame and then look for a sell opportunity. So I'm just going to jump to the 4 hours chart and then find a sell setup. So if you go to the 4 hours chart, I'm waiting for market structure to align for a sell. All right. So if we do the market structure like so, price is in an uptrend. I have internal structure here. Ultimately, price doing this. Okay. And then what do we have? We have this structure, this higher low here, price has broken this higher low on 4 hours. You can see. So right now, we've seen a possibility of an order flow shift like so. So price has broken this higher low. So this is a signal that possibly the shift from bullish to bearish is in view. All right. So we have this. Okay. We have a bit of retracement here. Okay. And then we have this. So price in this zone has been ranging ever since. Okay. If you go to the daily charts, it will be more possibly to be a bit more clear on the daily. So on the daily, what is happening is very, very simple. I told you the same thing. This will happen last week, and on Monday, if you remember what I said on Monday, remember that on Monday, I told you that price is on daily chart right now. Price is still in an uptrend on daily. So we cannot sell based off of the structure on daily, right? So right now, this is a demand zone on daily chart right here. Okay. And what I said was going to happen is that this demand zone, because we know that generally overall on the weekly charts, we've seen liquidation, prices in a supply zone. We are looking for a sell opportunity. So even though price hits a demand zone, we shouldn't really be happy to buy because there won't be enough buy strength. So what I said that this demand zone is going to hold, but we should eventually break it. So I said that price will hold here. This demand zone will push price up a bit. And then eventually what will happen is there will be a liquidation of that zone. This demand zone here is going to fail ultimately. All right. So when this failure happens, you now wait for price to retrace into a supply zone. So this is at this point where you want to look for a sell. That's if you are taking structure from daily. All right. So just what you should do is to try and put the pieces together. You need to understand what higher time frame is doing so that you know exactly what to do on lower time frame. Now, I'm explaining that because of what is going on the 4 hours right now. So on the 4 hours right now, if you check it out properly, we are anticipating the structure already has shifted to bearish on the 4 hours, as I've already highlighted, all right? And then we are also seeing possibility of this inducement over here, okay? And then price ultimately coming down. So we should have sold here. Actually, if you're taking entry from 4 hours, this zone would have been the best place to take entry because price retraced into the 4 hours supply, but you missed that entry. Okay, so the next thing that you want to do is to wait forwards. So let me delete everything on the screen. What you want to do is to wait. I recommend that you wait for this zone to be broken. Okay, so this is a demand. So let me just highlight it. So we have this structure. This is the break of the zone. Yeah, something like this. So what you want to happen is you want to wait for price to break this zone here. Wait for price to break this zone to take our liquidity here. Once that happens, wait for the retracement into this supply. And then that will be a good place for you to sell. And then when we are selling from here, right, the ideal place that you like to, exit will be somewhere around here. So price should still come back down and take out this trend and liquidity here. So at least somewhere here will be a good zone to exit. So if you are shorting from here, of course, you might want to go to a lower time frame if price does this on 5 minutes or 15 minutes to get a good entry. So you may exit somewhere here. Okay, but of course, if you take entry on 5 minutes charts, your entry will be quite tight. So at least if you take the right entry on this trade, you should see at least a 1 to 3 risk to reward. Okay, Mr. Zobike, good evening, you're welcome. Yes, exactly. You are correct, Mr. Adeni. Hope that makes sense, Rosalind. So this is what I wait for on Euro USD on daily. So right now, the easiest structure to follow on UJ, on EU right now is the daily structure because there seems to be a lot of noise as well on the 4 hours. So the easiest structure that you can follow, if you can wait, the easiest structure is this. So you want to wait for price to break this zone, right? So wait for this break. Wait for price to break this demand zone. Once you wait for that break, then you wait for the retracement. When that retracement happens, you want to start loading it for a sell. Okay, so it's a bit clearer on daily than what we have on 4 hours. Okay, so personally, I'm just waiting. As you can see, I've set my alert somewhere down below here. So I'm also waiting on Euro USD to trade. Okay, so, or if you are a very, very aggressive person, what you can do is to just sell as price is right now. If you are selling from here, you are selling on based on what price is doing on the 4 hours. So if you're selling right now, the only issue there is that your stop loss would have to be very, very wide because price might still come up and grab liquidity. So put a very wide stop loss, okay? And then obviously based on daily structure, yes, so you can exit at this extreme here. So 1 to 2. So this is a swing trade. For those that can't wait for price to do its thing, you can take the risk and take entry right now, okay, based on preference. So that's if you want to follow the move. But ideally, price should sell, except we see a very strange fundamental come out in the next few days. All right. So that's what we have on Euro USD. So let's check out GBP USD. I think that's the next one that Rosen is asking. GBP USD. All right. So we are going to have a similar structure on GU as well. So if you go to the weekly on GU, okay, we are seeing a similar structure. This is a supply, okay, and in that supply, we've seen activity of liquidation here. So people's stop losses has been taken out, which is a good time for you to, start taking entry, okay? So if we know that we're supposed to be selling on the weekly charts, what you want to do is to now go to a lower time frame to find a sell opportunity. So if you go to the 4 hours chart, for example, we are looking for a sell opportunity, right? So this is a structure on the 4 hours. So price has been doing this. Okay, and ultimately you have this. Okay, So for somebody that is into reversal patterns, right? After this liquidity grab has happened, you could have just taken entry using this this M pattern here. You know, like I always tell us, what you need to master as a trader is the concept of liquidity. Okay, if you can master that concept and really understand it, you find that you'll be entering into very, very high probability setups, right? Because in supply zones and demand zones, before any major move happen, we first have to wait for liquidity first. And then I explained to you liquidity. So this here, when at the first mitigation of this whole entire supply here. Now, what I always tell you that you want to wait for people to enter first, right? Because at the first point of mitigation of a supply zone or a demand zone, there's going to be a market structure that will look like indeed price is about to drop. Okay, so a lot of people will be wooed to take a sell, and that happened here. Okay, we had some sort of kind of M pattern here. We also had some sort of heads and shoulder that was forming here like so. But eventually, a lot of people would have entered this setup, but it was not meant to be the real move that will sell. It was meant to be a movement, a move that they will use to take out liquidity. Eventually, you can see price went all the way up, took out people's liquidity here like so, and then eventually high. So after this liquidity was taken out, right, the next market structure that will form usually, okay, should be a profitable one, usually. And then you can see that this M pattern working perfectly, textbook. So M patterns still work, W patterns still work, every chart pattern still work, but they work after liquidity has been grabbed. So you need to develop skill sets to be able to spot liquidity. Like I always tell you again and again, if you find yourself in a scenario in a supply zone or a demand zone, and then you cannot spot liquidity. If you cannot spot liquidity, that means you are most likely going to be the liquidity that will be grabbed. Hope that makes sense. So we already missed this particular entry. So let's wait for the next entry. Oops. Next entry here. So let's delete this. So when you're highlighting structure, so right now the structure is shifting like so. So this is, we had this, and then we had this. This is a bit higher than it was high. And then this is the higher low that has been broken, right? And then what are we seeing? We are seeing activity, we are seeing the break, we are seeing a bit of retracement like so, and then we are seeing this, we are seeing this, we are seeing this, okay? So structure has shifted to bearish on H4, So what you can wait for right now is very, very simple. You want to wait for a retracement into a block of supply. So you must also be very, very wary. So when I see things like this close to a supply zone, you can see this is also a trend line liquidity here. So there's every means that a lot of people, you know, people that trade trend lines, when they see this, as soon as price retraces into this zone, for example, they are looking for sell. So this is a trap. This will be a trap for a lot of people. So I wouldn't recommend to sell in this zone, even though it's a value zone to sell, because this is a supply zone, but I wouldn't really recommend it, right? I would only recommend you to sell after in this zone, so this is a 4 hours supply zone. So if you take entry when price retraces into this zone, you want to go to a lower time frame like your 5 minutes or the 15 minutes charts, and always be very, very patient. Wait for liquidity grabs. So if after there's a grab of liquidity and then you see a very, very solid setup on that lower time frame, then you can take that trade. Okay, you can take that trade. So if that works, so what I'm saying is that here, so when price retraces into the zone on lower time frame, you see something like this. So something like this. And people would think that price is going down like this, and then eventually you want price to still come back up and take out liquidity in this zone. So if this happens, so at this top here, if you see possibly a reversal pattern or a structured chain that aligns with your entry strategy, you want to sell, okay, from here, because price is in a 4 hours supply. So all of this will be on the lower time frame. So if you sell, then ideally price should hit the lower low to create a lower low. So this would be a good risk to reward for you if that happens, right? So, but if we see a very, very violent move, so we can see a violent move that just because people will have set their pending orders here. So we might see a violent move that will just break the zone. Okay, anything can happen, guys. Anything can happen. So if I see that violent move, to be very honest with you, what I wait for is I wait for price to come back into this extreme supply, like so. And even when price comes back into this extreme supply, I still want to look for liquidity grabs. All right. So if there's one thing that you learn from me as a trader, is the concept of liquidity. I cannot emphasize it enough, because that is how the markets work, right? If you go to, so buying and selling happens at the same time. If you go to the farmer's market today, and then you see somebody selling orange, right? So for that person to sell orange to you, you have to buy that orange, right? So let me do a visual representation of what I'm talking about. So let's say, let me give an example. So this is let's use our retail language. So let's say this is support zone, okay? And what do we know happens in a support zone? We are looking to buy, right? To buy at support. Okay, good. So, and then we know that the Forex market is averaging $6 or $7 trillion on a daily basis, right? And we as retail traders, we are not the ones that actually move the markets. We have money in the market, but our money cannot really do so much. We can't move the market. So the people that can really move the market are those that have large capital, like hedge funds, banks, and financial institutions. So they're the ones that can really, move price for a buy. You feel me? So, for example, for this pair to gain strength right now, it is the big boys that are actually pushing price up. So for them to buy this particular currency pair, so ask yourself a question. If you go to the market now to buy something, that means that there has to be somebody that wants to sell to you now. Abi, remember, this is a Forex market and we are trading commodity. Our commodity is currency pairs, right? Everybody that you see that is trading in the market, including banks, governments. They are all in this space to make money. So you are competing against very intelligent people that have softwares that are managing, that knows how you trade. So back to my analysis. If you go to the market, before you can buy anything, there has to be someone that will sell to you. In the same vein, for these guys to buy a particular currency, so this is GBP USD. For price to go up, that means they must buy the base currency, which is the pound. So for them to buy the pound, that means there has to be somebody that will be willing to sell to them. So what they'll do is to create a scenario whereby people's stop losses is going to be somewhere here. So this is just a random example, right? So in a support zone, for example, your average retail trader is looking to buy. And then when they buy here, their stop losses usually will be somewhere below the zone. And then for a buy order, a stop loss is a sell order, right? So that means you are selling off your position. So what usually happens is that for these big boys to buy, they need to sell up. You have to be willing to sell to them. So what they will do is to push price down to because they want to buy. So they need to buy at the price that you want to sell. And the price that you want to sell is your stop loss. So that's why a lot of times you find yourself in a scenario that your stop loss will be grabbed, and immediately your stop loss is grabbed, price will now start going in your direction. It's just economics, supply and demand. That's the way the market works. All right. So that's why you don't want to contribute to this liquidity that's going on here. Hope that makes sense, guys. Let me know if you understand my analogy. Just type in yes in the chat box real quick. Let me know if I'm making sense to you guys. Okay. If you understand, type in yes. If you don't understand, type in no. All right. Good. Let's go. So that's why you must understand liquidity. I cannot stress it enough, right? I cannot stress it enough. So if you devote a day or a whole weekend to just study liquidity, trust me, study liquidity and how it is being grabbed, it will really change your perspective towards the market. And then you will now start picking trades that you'll be entering. You won't be going on any trade. Okay. So back to our analysis. Somebody is drawing on our screen now. Mr. Henry, you're drawing on our screen. I'm gonna clear this. Okay, so if you have any questions, please feel free to signify in the chat box, and then I'll answer your question. Also, if you want me to unmute you so that you can ask your question, please let me know. All right, so I want our sessions every week to be engaging because we are doing this for you guys, okay? So back to it. So for GBP USD is either we look for entry here. So if we don't see an entry here after liquidity grab, then possibly it's just best to wait for price to get here. Or this is also a cluster of weeks. We have a buy to sell week here. So this is also a zone that we might see price react. So over here or at this. All right. So that's what we have on GBP USD. So we can see entry. This is the first point of entry. This zone, you might see entry, or this zone, or this zone. So 3 possible entries that we have on GBP USD. Excuse me. So let's check out another pair. Possibly our last pair for tonight. let's check. So NU and AU should have similar market structure to EU and GU because they're all USD pairs. UJ as well. So these are all USD pairs. So let's just check out UJ. Okay. Let's check out UJ real quick. So what do you have on UJ? Let's go to the higher time frame. Let's go to the weekly charts. Remember what I've been telling you on UJ. So price on USDJPY is in a textbook uptrend, right? As you can see, weekly, and this is a block of demand right here. This is a range here, demand. And in that demand range, what you will notice is activity of liquidation, okay? So first time price touched the zone, at that mitigation, you can see over here, this sell move took out this stop loss. Is another mitigation. So we've seen first liquidity grab, second liquidity grab, right? So, but ideally, this is a demand. So we are looking for opportunity to buy, okay, a buy opportunity. So if you know that we want to buy, that means we now go to a lower time frame and then look for a buy scenario. So let's go to the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, all right, so if we are taking entry based off of market structure right now, hold on. So what do we have here? Let me delete this. So what we have here is very, very simple. You can see price trending down as so. So price is still very much in a downtrend on the 4 hours. Okay. So, and remember, we want to buy, right? We want to buy, but 4 hours has not given us any reason to buy because the market structure, as you can see, is still very much in a downtrend, right? Why do you want to buy in a downtrend? So if you are buying in a downtrend, so that's a counter trend move. And for counter trend moves, it's quite very, very risky. You might be stopped out a lot before entering the real move, okay? So 4 hours, price is still very much bearish. If we're going to buy based from market structure on 4 hours, you want to wait for price to what? At least break this lower high here. So you want price to violate the structure like so, and then you want to wait for a retracement, and then you look for your buy here. Okay, so we don't have anything to do yet on H4. So let's go to a lower time frame like H1 and see if we can see a buy scenario on H1. Rosen said, I'm always impatient to wait. Everybody has that tendency to be impatient, but we just have to train ourselves to wait. So it's not every time that you'll be clicking buying and selling. The great man said trading is 80% waiting, 10% buying, and 10% selling. Okay, and then the market will usually move money from the hands of the impatient to the hands of the patient. Okay, the honest truth is that based on your target for the month or target for the year or a particular quarter, you don't need to trade every day to hit your goals, right? You want to be entering very, very high probability setups, and you can only hit those setups if you wait patiently. Okay, so that is why some people are able to, maybe flip their accounts because they've been waiting for a long time. They waited for the right time to risk it all, right? So practice patience. Very, very important. So let's go to the 1 hour time frame. So 1 hour time frame, let's check out the structure. All right. So we have something approaching here on 1 hour. So structure is still in a downtrend, like so. So in order to buy on the 1 hour right now, you want price to break this zone here. So this is a lower high that needs to be broken, like so. All right. So you wait patiently for price to what? So right now you have, so this is some sort of a flip zone currently happening. So you want price to break this zone. Once that break happens, what we wait for? We wait for price to retrace into this zone, like so. You wait for the retracement, and then you want to take your entry. So taking your entry, you can go to a lower time frame and then find a confirmation. All right, so that's what I'll do on USD JPY. But first, wait for price to break this structure. So once the structure has been violated, so that means we are possibly approaching a shift of order flow from this bearish to bullish. All right, so this is what I wait for on USD JPY. Rosalind, does that make sense to you? So because this is the 1 hour chart right now. So if the market will move fast this week, we should see a break of this possibly by tomorrow. Okay, possibly. All right, Mr. Sunday is asking, please, would you mind create a class for just time frame calculation? Mr. Sunday, I don't think I understand your question. What do you mean by time frame calculation? We don't calculate time frame. There are already time frames on the platforms that you can choose to trade from. Mr. Sunday, let me just unmute you so that you can ask your question clearly. If you can, kindly unmute yourself and speak.
All right, sir. Good evening. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. Sincerely speaking, maybe I used the wrong language. Okay. I've been trying to observe something about the time frame where you use the day, 4 hours, and 1 hour. I could remember when you used 4 hours, you said there's the based on the analysis that you don't see the reason why one should buy. We should just wait for it to pass through the demand you created and then have a retracement before we can place a buy. Yes, but now when you got to this 1 hour, it seems as if you were able to find a position to buy. And I'm trying to understand, why is it that I cannot buy when it's 4 hours, but I can buy when it's 1 hour? It was confusing.
Okay, so I think I understand your question.
All right.
You need to understand market structure. Know what does it mean for price to shift from bullish to bearish and then from bearish to bullish.
All right.
So let me just digress a bit. All right. So let's say price is in an uptrend. Okay. In an uptrend like this, it is the safest thing that you can do in an uptrend is to look for buy opportunities, right? Not that you cannot sell in an uptrend, but it's a lot more risky, or is it risky or riskier to sell in an uptrend? Okay, so the safest way to buy in an uptrend is to wait for price to retrace, right, into a demand zone over here. So you wait for price to retrace here. Once price retraces, then you start looking for buy opportunities. All right. So when do you sell? So if you want to sell, if price is still giving you a structure for an uptrend. Remember, I said that you don't want to sell in an uptrend. So if price is it giving you an uptrend market structure, you want to wait for the market structure to shift from uptrend to downtrend. And the way to know that possibly price will shift is this level right here is the higher low, which is a structural point in the market. So when price breaks this zone, so to sell, to know that the order flow wants to shift from bullish to bearish, price needs to break this structure here. Once that break happens, okay, so that is an intention, because if truly an uptrend wants to continue, we should not really see a violation of this higher low here. So this higher low is a demand zone. That demand should push price to create a higher high. But if that demand zone is not now acting like a demand zone, that means there's a violation, which means that possibly the supply pressure is higher than the demand. So this is an indication that, okay, possibly there's a sell incoming. So when this if and when this happens, what you want to wait for is a retracement into a supply somewhere here or in the middle. So you wait for price to retrace into a supply, and then you look for sell opportunities here, all right? On the flip side, that's the same thing that's happened on the 1 hour chart here. Okay, so we know that this zone is a weekly demand, and in a demand zone, we are looking to buy. So on the 1 hour chart now, price is giving you this market structure like so. Like so. So if I will buy, it's not right for me, it's not ripe yet for me to buy, because price is still in a downtrend on the 1 hour. So if I'll buy, I need to wait for the order flow to shift from bearish to bullish. And what do I wait for? I need to wait for this lower high, which is a structural point in the market, to be violated. I need to see an activity of the buyer's demand. So I want price to break this zone. Once that break happens, what I wait for? I wait for price to retrace back into a demand zone, and then I look for sells here. So that's what I did here. So what you need to learn and master is order flow shifts, how price moves, changes from bearish to bullish, and how price shifts from bullish to bearish. I hope that makes sense, Mr. Sonny Patrick. Let me know if you understand my explanation. Mr. Solomon, yes, we can have the recording. It will be posted on 10 Trade Academy YouTube channel. Mr. Adeni is asking a question. I just want to start using TradingView, and it is telling me 30 days free trial. Is it that it is not free to use unlike MD5? So TradingView is a free platform, and if you want more features, you can upgrade to the premium platform. Okay, but as a beginner, if you're a beginner, the free account on TradingView is enough for you to do your charts analysis. So if you want, so I use a premium version of TradingView because of some features that's on the premium that I need. All right, so you can start with a free plan. So as you start to understand the platform and then you need more features, you can now upgrade. So TradingView has some features that are not available on MT5. but the free plan is enough for you to get started. Okay. That's Mr. Denny Yario. All right, guys, any more questions before we wrap this up? We've been here for a bit over 1 hour. So we've checked out USD JPY, we've checked out Euro USD, and we've checked out GBP USD. So 3 pairs. And then on those 3 pairs, I think we've also highlighted zones where we should be trading from. Okay, so those three pairs that we checked out, if you check out every other USD pair, they'll be quite similar. Mr. Ambrose is asking, can we check gold? Mr. Akumi is asking, please drop the entry prices for the pairs, their stop loss and TP. All right, so I will not be able to drop the entry prices because this isn't a signal. This is not a signal, right? So this is a trade idea. So at the end of the day, you have to be the one to take entry based on your strategy. Now, what we are doing is I'm not teaching you a particular strategy, right? What I'm showing you are the best zones where you should take entry. So when price gets into these zones, you now want to confirm with your own entry strategy. I hope that makes sense to you, Mr. Idris. I'm sorry, this is not a signal setting, okay? So, Mr. Ambrose, we'll check out gold shortly. Someone is asking, is it advisable to trade this Christmas season? If you see a setup that aligns with your strategy, you can, but it is advisable to, because markets might tend to be slow, or we might see a lot of imbalance during this period because of the season. So you might just stay out of the market. It's usually advisable to stay out of the market when it is close to 24th and 25th. So of course, so Friday is 23rd. So I think you can still trade till Friday. All right, so as long as price market also aligns with your setup, you can. Mr. Namdi, your screen is blank. Maybe you can try to log out and log back in. Rosalind, so we will wait for liquidity to be taken at that UJ that we enter. Yes, so but first, this is what we're waiting for. You want price to break this zone first. You want price to, first of all, break this zone. So once price has broken the zone, then you wait for a retracement here, and then you look for entries here. Okay. So let's check out gold. Let's check out last pair for tonight, gold, real quick. Okay. Let's check out gold. So let's go to the weekly. So we are seeing similar structure on gold and USD price is in a supply, taking this supply range here, right? And we've seen activity of liquidation here, price taking liquidity. So our bias is to find a sell opportunity. So if you go to the lower time frame, like 4 hours, we want to look for sells, okay? Okay, Mr. Adeni, I'm going to answer your question after this, okay? So this is gold on 4 hours. We are looking for sell opportunities on gold, right? Because ultimately we believe that price is in a weekly supply, right? Let me check out the daily chart for context, right? So the daily charts, what do we have here? Okay, we have this structure here, little bit of, okay. So this is a low that was, so we've seen a violation here on daily. So price has done this, and then we're expecting price to retrace, right? So we are currently seeing that retracement, and then we are trying to look for sells here. So being aggressive is looking for sells here. So ideally, you want to wait for price to form the lower low before this is an established order flow shift from bullish to bearish. So if and when this happens, you now want to wait for price to retrace and then you sell. But we can be aggressive and then try and look for sell setups here. So if we know this, we are looking for sell opportunities over here. So let's go to the 4-hour chart and look for sells. We are seeing a similar structure like so, like what we've seen on daily. If you check this out, this is what price is doing. Okay, so price has taken out this internal structure here. Okay, and then we've seen the retracement. And that retracement is in this supply here, this supply range here. So over here right now, we can start looking for opportunity to sell. So let's go to lower time frame, like let's say 30 minutes, and see if we can sell, look for sell setups. Okay, so same structure. Price can see over here as taking out liquidity, like so. Let's mark out the structure. This. And what do we have? Price has violated this higher low. Okay. You can see, oops, let's do this. You can see the break of this higher low, and then you can see the retracement like so. Okay. So the retracement is currently reacting to this extreme demand supply here. So this is supply range, but what I wait for is very, very simple on gold. So I'll recommend that wait for this lower low to be formed. So you want price to break this low. So once that low is formed, you now want to wait for price to retrace into this supply here. So you wait. So if I should do this, you want to look for sells on a lower time frame. So that's what I wait for, Mr. Ambrose. Okay. Then let me take the question. Mr. Denny is asking, how many candles do you use to measure your zones using rectangle? So that's not the way I measure my zones, right? So like I was saying on Monday, most likely what we are going to do is we are going to arrange a session with TenTrade to teach clients how to trade like I trade. So I trade institutional trading concepts, leveraging on supply and demand. So there's a particular way I look at supply and demand, and there's a way that I draw my zones. So I don't draw my zones based off of number of candles. Okay, so I cannot explain that tonight, but we'll find time to explain it to you properly. Okay, Mr. Adeni, I hope that makes sense to you. All right, guys. Any other questions before we call it a night? While you're waiting for questions, give me some feedback in the chat box. If you are getting value from all of this, just type in yes in the chat box. Let me feel your energy this night. If you If this sessions has been valuable to you, type in yes in the chat box. And again, to reiterate, we do these sessions every Monday and Wednesday. Okay, so we start off the week with checking our pairs. Also, midweek, we also check our pairs to find the best possible setups. All right. And then this is brought to you by the one and only TenTrade. Okay. So for people that are possibly join here for the first time, you want to start trading with TenTrade and create an account with TenTrade, go to this website. So TenTrade is a Forex broker. So 10.trade is where you go to, and then when you get to the website, you click on register to create an account, and then access to being a TenTrade, you get some additional benefits as well. God's will, the session has been really valuable. I got to learn something in my first class here. Awesome. That's what we're all about. And then as you join more sessions, you will learn a whole lot more. Okay, a whole lot more. Okay, guys. So season's greeting to everybody. I wish us all the very best this holiday season. Compliment of the season. Merry Christmas in advance. Happy New Year in advance as well. May this year end in a remarkable note for everybody listening to me tonight. I wish you all the very best till next time that I see you, possibly next week, Monday. Good night, everybody. God bless you. Bye-bye.